We have 1 week to go before Americans decide whether Donald Trump or Kamala Harris gets to be their next president. What will this mean for the most important bilateral relationship in the world, that is between the US and China, the two biggest powers on the planet? Let's start. Chung-yan, let me start with you. What will a Trump victory mean for China?
Right. I think at the risk of oversimplification, I will say that Trump represents greater uncertainty. Not that Beijing is unfamiliar with Trump, because unlike last time, this is his second term. So the last time Trump is a newbie to international politics. He spent some time to get familiar with the way how to deal with the Chinese leadership. If you remember last time at the very beginning of his tenure, he mentioned that he is going to do some bargaining over Taiwan. That really pissed off Beijing, and from our diplomatic sources, they told us that Xi Jinping just decided to cut all the communication with Donald Trump. And he got really panicked. And in the end, the two sides, he reassured Beijing that he respects Taiwan as the core issue for China, and is not going to make mention of that again. Now, as you can see that throughout Donald Trump's first term, actually the arms sales to Taiwan was kept to a minimum level. So, and he had several meetings with Xi in person. So the Chinese officials by now are familiar with him and his style.
Okay, Rob, let's cross over to you in Washington. This election is down to the wire. We don't know who's going to win, but you're in the US, boots on the ground, finger on the pulse. You would know much better than us what the American mood is. I'm not asking you to look at a crystal ball, but who, in your estimation, is most likely to win, and why?
I mean, if you had to put a gun to my head and say you have to make a call. At this moment, today, like Wednesday, October 30th, I will say it's probably a little bit more in Harris's favor at the moment. And that's just because of recent events that we've seen. I think the Trump campaign committed a major misstep in this rally that he had over the weekend, where he made he invited a comedian on who made these very disparaging remarks about just about everyone, in particular calling Puerto Rico a island of trash or island of garbage. So that's very significant, because the reaction from the Hispanic community or the Latino vote, it could be moved by that. The extent to which minority voting groups are influencing the overall election has really grown in recent years. And we've seen traditionally that support from Latino voter had traditionally gone to Democrats. But in recent years, that's moved over more towards the Republicans. And the Republicans and Trump really had that to his advantage, to his benefit in this particular election cycle.
I mean, there's no denying that he's changed the way the acceptability of U.S. presidential candidates. I remember a time when if a candidate said one thing wrong or even made a wrong sound, that could torpedo their run for president. But Donald Trump, I think, that's why they call him the Teflon Don. Anyway, let's go over to Wendy in Beijing now. Wendy, the Chinese economy, we're facing significant challenges, right? There's a lot of restructuring going on. There's a lot of soul searching. And then at the same time, we are expecting a lot of attacks coming from the US economically. This is economic warfare at the end of the day. So no matter who's in the White House, the China policy as far as the economy is concerned, what we heard from Chung-yan, what we heard from Rob so far, this is likely to continue. Anyway, what are you expecting China to be doing to address this whole problem, no matter who's in the White House? What can we expect regarding the Chinese economy?
Hi. I think that, as you mentioned, that China's economy is facing a lot of headwinds domestically and also externally. So no matter who is going to be in the White House for the next 4 years, what are we going to face some questions? One is that is China going to fight a trade war at two fronts, both with the European Union or with the United States? Is China going to face a closer coordination against China on the tech and economic rivalry across the Atlantic, no matter whether it's Trump or it's Harris in the White House? And will China face an escalation of the U.S. tech containment strategy, small yard, high fence? And even will China be able to find and expand its external markets in the emerging economies, in the global South market, to counter the loss, to catch up the loss in the US and the European side? And also, no matter who goes to the White House, those economic and the trade dialogue and mechanism set up last year, are they going to continue to function? Or is China or Washington, is Beijing, are they willing to start the second phase of the trade negotiation, the phase two? These all the uncertainties